I usually do these videos about antags, and I usually like to talk about the good of the antagonist before I get into why I don't like the antagonist in general. Like, changelings. I like the fact that there's a genuine threat on board. Do I like that the threat usually just round removes or gets round removed? No. Nukies. I like that there's a completely destruction of station, everyone gets annihilated antagonist. Do I like the fact that the antag just kind of forces the entire crew to fight it and that there's no way for the crew to just leave half the time and that every time a war ops gets called, it's 40 minutes of people standing around waiting for the 5 people who want to have fun to show up and die? No. But when it comes to blobs, I genuinely don't know what the hell the point of them is. I don't see a single good thing that Blob does. Like, straight up. Like, if you want a station-ending threat, the cults and Nukies do it better. Space Dragon does it better, hell. Yeah, literal dragons do that shit better. If you want something that acts as a capstone to the round, a final large-scale antag that destroys everything or gets destroyed and causes mass destruction, mid-round Nuki spawns, ninjas, space dragons, or honestly the wizard, all do that far better. If you want, solo antags that slowly gain in power before culminating as being ultra giga powerful if not stopped, you have the heretic. And if you want zombies, you have actual zombies. Like, just zombies. I genuinely don't know what Blob does that's good at all. And I've played Blob about, 3 times total. I'm not going to go into how Blob fully works. But, again, I don't think Blob is well designed, especially for haha funny Chaos Space Station role-playing game. Let's get into it. So, when it comes to antagonists and their counters, they're usually pretty varied. Syndicates usually get countered by detectives and their log probes and fingerprinting. Changelings get countered by the chaplain's burn chamber. And, people being aware with good communication to counter the changelings. Heretics get countered by the chaplain, along with both cults also getting countered by the chaplain, making the chaplain a very high priority target for security protect, and the cults to take out. Nukies get fucking screwed over by the entire crew because they're getting jumped. Countering Nukies relies on very good coordination and a million flashbangs because they're also not well designed, but they at least have their counters. Blob gameplay, when you're fighting a blob, is clicking on a tile. That's it. That's all you do. You click on a tile. Over and over and over again. Oh, and sometimes the tile clicks back. Oh, and the tile has so much health that your knife basically does nothing. Your drills also do nothing. And your laser guns, they can only get through 6 blob tiles before they need to recharge. This is to the point where wardens have to keep wrenches on them to emergency reposition the fucking rechargers in security to wherever the blob is, because that is the only way a blob can actually be countered, is by having the entirety of security constantly recharging their guns to hit the thing over and over and over again. That is how you counter a blob. You click on it. That's it. That's the counter. Oh, but salvage charges. No. Throwing a salvage charge, which usually isn't possible as the blob player sucks, by the way, is not a solution for terrible antagonist design. Seriously. You think one bomb being able to take out a blob, speaking of, most fucking salvagers don't even, already use the fucking charges on their mining expeditions instead of saving them for, what if a blob shows up? No, bombs are not a solution, especially because security doesn't get those usually. Now, you might be thinking, Acorn, what the fuck is this background footage? It's literally just you playing Hoss and, talking to people. I'm trying to prove a point here. The point is, security gameplay is usually a lot of talking to people and a lot of robusted people. You either are chasing people, trying to figure out antagonists is who they are. There's a lot of intersect talking and communicating, and then extrasect talking, communicating, talking with the crew at large, talking to the antagonists, trying to figure out who they are. I'm not going to call it Among Us, but imagine if Among Us does have a hider mode that nobody plays. You want to know why nobody plays it? Because it happens the same way every time. The fun of Among Us is that every round you play is infinitely different. Because the virtues of who chooses to do what in Among Us, yeah, I'm talking about Among Us when it comes to Space Station. No, I don't see the irony in that. No, I don't care. In Among Us, when you have a player adapting and changing their strategies to investigate other players, to defend themselves, to hide their own actions, that's where the gameplay comes from. That's why Among Us is so simple, yet so beloved. And SS14, being also having social deduction elements because it's a role-playing game, has to rely on that as well. Every antagonist can theoretically, well, I say every antagonist, syndicate agent can get all their kill objectives done by nocturine and then dropping a mini-bomb on their target. You want to know why no one does that? Because it's boring. It's boring as shit. People like to talk to each other. I like to lure people into maintenance and then shank them. I like to find people in the middle of buttfuck nowhere, pull out a knife, and watch them run. More fun for them, too. Getting slapped and then mini-bombed is boring. And this is the antag equivalent of that. Basically, okay, imagine you're playing, like you're at a nice dinner. You're having a good dinner, you know, you have a good dinner with your fucking lovely, actually, I was going to say lovely wife, but who am I kidding? None of you people are in a relationship. Imagine you're having a good time with your friends. Actually, what am I saying? You're enjoying playing video games with your friends, when suddenly, one of your friends just starts shooting you. I don't really know what to compare this to because none of you people have friends. Imagine you're out with a nice dinner, you're with your lovely wife, you know? You're having a great time, you know? But suddenly, oh no! There's been a murder in the bar! Everyone's being locked in. Do you time to solve it? It's a classic case. Who done it? You must figure out amongst themselves. That's the idea behind Clue, several murder mystery novels, the shitty Jackbox version of Clue, which is a shitty, but it's shit. Trust me. That game is shit. It's not good. And also the concept behind, like, several murders. It's a classic for a reason. Everyone suspects everyone, everyone starts yelling at each other, and no one feels safe. Blob does the opposite. There's no idea who the killer is. Okay, you get the point when it comes to the social interaction. Let's talk more about the gameplay of fighting a blob. In fact, let me skip to the blob gameplay fight. Blobs are usually discovered in one simple way. Can you guess? Oh wow, there's been a confirmed level 5 biohazard on the station. Wow, the game has decided to tell you that the antagonist is happening. You want to know why? Because most blob shifts before this was added, and I fucking guarantee you this is what happened. Most blob shifts that happened were, oh, the round is over. No one found the blob because the blob was hiding in maintenance. Oh, wow. Anyway, here's the next problem with Blob. Blob is an idea of an antagonist where... Okay, I need to talk about Heretic. Heretic's entire bit is they start out weak as shit. Manza's Grasp, unupgraded, is completely useless. Their Dagger, whichever one they choose, unupgraded, is also completely useless. Why is there a carp here? And the consistent thing with Heretics is they slowly level up their abilities by taking in more and more reality tears, completing their rituals to gain knowledge points, and gathering equipment. They can gain additional armor. They can get a shield that can reflect disablers. They gain additional allies if they're on the flesh path. They can gain powerful spells on the cold path. They gain the fires of hell and potent healing from the ashen path. And then there's the Blob, which starts out weak as shit. Seriously, you can just raffle stomp a Blob before shit hits the fan. And that's it. That's the Antagonist. Which I'll explain. Actually, no, I'll explain now. So the way Space Station spawns Antagonists is, at first, there's secret game mode. This is the game mode that every server runs, because it's the game mode that is secret, i.e. it doesn't tell the players what antagonist there's going to be, and then the game rolls a dice to see which antagonists spawn. For example, a shift could spawn with a couple different game modes. Most common game modes are Traitors, which spawns Syndicate agents, and Changelings, which spawns, fucking Changelings. Survival, which just increases events over time, and just fucking shit. Like, genuinely, the mid-round events are awful. Why the fuck would you want this? There's also Nukies, which spawns Nukies. And then there's Blobs, which spawns Blobs. Okay. Now let's say the Blob dies immediately. Well, congratulations. Now, because one player was unrobust, the round has no antagonists and everyone's bored. Again, have you ever played a fucking green shift with nothing happening? It's boring as shit. The point of antagonists is to make the round more interesting. And Blob doesn't make the round more interesting. Because if they're raffle stomped early, you're out of an antagonist. Okay. So what happens if the Blob gets going? Like this Blob. This Blob's gone going. It's putting up a fight. It's got a lot of, Blob droplets going around. It's fighting us. And we're shooting it out. Here's the thing. Once you fought one Blob, you fought every Blob. And this is what I want to talk about a little bit about Nukies, because Nukies actually doesn't have this issue. It's one of the things I pride Nukies on. It's just unfortunate that every Nukies player is annoying. See, Nukies can choose any wide variety of strategies because they have the most powerful antagonist tool of being a fucking person. Seriously, having hands, most powerful anti tool. Not even kidding. Nukies can form stealth ops and go in covert to try and take out the captain stealthily, getting the nuke disc before anyone even knows they're there. And then setting up a defense with their nuclear bombs somewhere on the station, holding out against the crew as they desperately try to fight them. They could go raid suits and blitz in, slaughtering everyone in their wake. One Nukie strategy I tried the other day that didn't go too well because the fucking zombie ops never fucking works is we had one guy in a stealth suit go in and he took out all of medical and then raised the dead. Well, we went around killing people. Every person they drugged to bed was just another zombie to add to the horror. It didn't work because zombies just... Zombie ops never fucking work. I've just tried it a million times. It doesn't fucking work. Here's the thing though. That is like just a small glimmer of the incredible number of strategies. And hell, these strategies are trying not to win. Like, these aren't even strategies where the Nukies are just deciding to fuck around, like chess ops or some shit. Blob has the opposite problem, where every Blob, regardless of whichever color of piss it chooses, fights the exact same way. You walk up to it, you stab it. There is a billion fucking droplets coming at you. Sometimes they explode, but who the fuck cares? And if you find the core, great, you win. If not, you lose. Oh, and it also just gives people if they choose the right one, which is the red one. Yeah, the red one is the correct choice in like 90% of situations. I'll be real. Okay, so how do we fix Blob? You know. Like, again, I really wish that I could have a way to fix Blob. I don't like talking exclusively negatively about things. Like Nukies, I think one of the nuclear operative's biggest problems is war ops. You take away war ops, you force a lot of Nukies to come up with much more interesting strategies. You force them to have more interesting ideas to deal with their problems and go onto the station to get their objectives done. Like, hell, you want to know why Wizard's Den nerfed Nocturne? Because Nocturne's fucking boring. Nocturne instantly knocking you out is the most boring shit imaginable. Why is my cadet flashbanging me? you want to know why fucking, like, the most game designers are hesitant to give Syndicate agents rechargeable weapons, besides, like, the energy crossbow, which isn't really a lethal tool, so it kind of breaks the rule? Quite simply, a Syndicate agent able to completely shoot up an entire station and mass genocide the crew? Not interesting. That doesn't help at all. Okay, how do we fix Blob? You don't. Again, I do genuinely think a role where there's no crew interaction, you can't even, the crew can't even talk to the Blob, by the way. I just don't think there's a way to fix this antagonist. Oh, and let's talk endgames. For reference, the endgame of every antagonist is usually where they peak. If they get to their endgame, they are massively powerful and an incredible threat to the entire crew, right? You know, Nukies setting off their nuke disc, the Cosmic Cultists summoning the Unknown in their final showdown, the fucking Blood Cult summoning Narcy, the Heretic ascending finally and getting 20 minutes to go on a rampage. Well deserved, to be fair, in each of the antagonist stuff. The Revs open revolting, that even though it barely serves an endgame, Revs are weird. The Blob endgame is just shit. For reference, eventually CENTCOM just kind of decides, which that's one of the most major fucking issues with the antagonist, is Blobs being, like, I guess, leveling up. Also ignore the help, I'll explain why it may help in a second. Blobs ascending and becoming more powerful, like advancing to, oh, the crew is being made aware that there are blobs on the station. And also the, oh, hey, guys, we need to nuke the station. Here's the nuke codes. You need to end this thing now. Are so fucking arbitrary. Along with Blobs just winning, Blobs, for reference, win by existing for the station on a certain time. Like, if they've existed for too long, the game just says, oh, Blob wins, round over. Sorry. That's their quote-unquote win con. The game just declares they win. Fucking fantastic game design. Compare this to the Cosmic Cult having a massive blaring siren going off that the Cosmic Cult is ascending, multiple announcements that they're ascending, the Cosmic Cult themselves having to choose to go for the ascension in one final gambit. Same with Nukies, same with, well, not Revs, but same with the Cosmic Cult, etc., blah, blah, blah. There's an end game, a peak, and an ending. The Cosmic Cult ascending can't be stopped. There's music, it's given the proper fanfare. Blob winning is just, oh, hey, you won, good job. And, yeah. This is where I want to get into the last major issue Blob has. And then I'll get into the next minor issue, because there's still a couple other minor issues. Next major issue Blob has. Whenever a Blob spawns, literally the entire crew has to go fight it. There is no other mid-round antagonist that functions like this. For reference, thrown around, people gain stakes. They interact with each other. They butt heads, form friendships over shared traumas, and the clown gets beaten several times. Everyone has their relationships with one another throughout that round. Antagonists are doing antagonistic things. Heretics are doing heretic things. Maybe there's a nuclear operative group that's been stealth opping their entire time. Everything stops when a Blob spawns, because if you don't respond immediately, this happens, where we're barely able to make a dent because we don't have enough people clicking on it. Yeah. Blob actively takes away from every other fucking antagonist that's already existed. It is that shit. And that, I think, should be the crux of the problem. Blob is not as interesting as every other antagonist, and when it spawns in, it just kind of fucking ruins the round for every other antagonist that spawns. It's not more interesting, and it also makes every other antagonist less interesting, because security's focused on the fucking Blob. For reference, Space Dragon doesn't require you to deal with it exclusively. Ninja also doesn't. So let me talk about the final minor issue, and the reason IA helped. Blob is bugged to where it spawns under certain tiles. Like, it spawned under the asteroid tiles, and I did straight up not know that Blobs had the ability to naturally spread underneath tiles. I just always assumed it was a whatever thing. I didn't realize it would naturally spread. And yeah, blobs can exist under rock tiles. Minor bug, but what do you want me to do? I'm not perfect. See, I helped because I thought the blob was, cheating. He's intentionally spawning shit under there, but nah, blobs just apparently naturally spread. Unless the ad was wrong, but I fucking doubt it. So, yeah. Again, I don't like making these kinds of videos because these kinds of videos are fucking shits. I wish I could talk about what I love about an Antag. I might do that soon. Let me know if you'd like the next Antag rant to be on Antag I actually fucking like. Suggest the Antag down below. And thank you to my channel members down below for the show. Blah, blah, blah. I'll be streaming Game Awards or whatever. Yeah, video's over. I'm doing ad reach right now. River Spear, Wakefield H, User Face Test, Altar, Subcommittee Ad, North Star, Pledge 123, Weapon Sworder, Philbin 2, I'd say through Lapin. Support the show down below. Cool shit. You know the fucking drill. You've heard this a billion goddamn times. Anyway, that's it for today. Bye.